Welcome to my new 5-part series on music, Bangers with Banker. I am joined here with two guests, Jack Caldecott and Cody Cox. Both of these students at Mitchell High School have been involved with music-related extracurriculars, such as band, as well as making music on their own time. They have done numerous projects involving music. For example, they've made their own little band, Dead House. They've done assignments for our economics class, making their own music, and a number of other things. So, Jack Caldecott, how are you?
I'm doing really good, Si. How are you?
I'm great. Cody Cox?
It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, let's just get right into it, okay? So what really interests you about music? We'll start with Jack.
I don't know if I can pin it down to anything. I mean, it's just kind of like, it's a way to pass the time. You can always just play it in the background. It doesn't really have to involve you, but if you choose to be involved with it and fully engaged, you can be, just analyzing the lyrics, listening to the different melodies or something. I mean, there's just a lot of different ways you can go about listening to music and appreciating it.
Yeah, absolutely. I really think that it's a big part of my life, It just, it can help you focus. It can help you study. If you use it right, it can be a tool. It can also just be as much of a detriment, but, I don't really look at it that way. It's not distracting to me. I don't really think it's a distracting thing. I really think that the melodies and the lyrics, it can, really just bleed into your soul,
Kind of ripping off what I said.
Hey, we're supposed to work together here. I think that we're, collaborating,
We're collaborating. It's like a duet.
I like that one.
No,
But
you don't.
I don't?
It didn't feel like a real laugh. You want to rein us in here, Si?
Yeah, let's move on. Do you really think music has changed you as people? Like, has it impacted your life in that degree?
I mean, sounds corny to say, it's changed me, but, I mean, without music, I really wouldn't have any that, I'm going into college for music. I don't know that I'd have a passion outside of music that would actually entertain me. And that music is kind of like a hard job to get into, but that's not really the point of this question. It has definitely changed me. I mean, everything I do revolves around music. I am always talking about music and doing stuff with music and practicing music and making music. So, yeah, it has pretty much changed everything I do and the way I look at things and the way I appreciate art.
I mean, I definitely think that it's changed my life, too. Growing up, I didn't really have any hobbies or interests until I got into about 6th grade. I joined the Mitchell Band, and it kind of just, opened my eyes, I didn't really realize what music could be or what it could do to you. And it kind of just, grabs you by the neck and kind of, throws you for a joyride, depending on what styles you like. There's so many different things. It can make you feel different emotions. It can completely alter your state of mind. It's just something that can really, really draw you into the depths of your own self and make you kind of look around and question reality even sometimes.
There's so much music. For every personality, for every kind of thing that you like, there's definitely a song or album or artist that you're going to like and that you're going to really, I don't want to say vibe with, but I guess that is the best term here, as unsavory as that word is. Everybody has their own vibe that they follow, and finding that, I think, can change you. Yeah, so it definitely has with me.
I mean, yeah, I don't really have anything in my life currently that I can say has changed me to that degree.
Yeah, I don't know that you could name even one song, honestly.
I am not a huge music person, to be honest.
What's one Kendrick Lamar song, sorry?
Family Ties.
That's actually a Baby Keem song, though. That's actually Baby Keem.
Okay, well, same thing.
Close enough. Kendrick's on it. It really can just... And tying back into the first question, what interests me about it, it's the fact that there's music out there for everybody. Even if it takes you a while to find it, there's music out there that will grab you and interest you no matter what. You just have to find it. Now, for me, I love all music, man. I find new music every single day that interests me. I find new music that makes me feel sad. I find new music that, it makes me want to, break a bat over a table or something like that. It can completely just change you. And
you're obviously talking about Yeet there, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's just, that's what interests me about it, is the fact that I can be listening to one song and just want to be with somebody or hang out with my dad because that song reminds me of him, and then the next second it can be a song that makes me want to get on top of my car and start shouting obscenities at people.
That's not. Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, it really is just there's a mood for every single thing that you're doing. And like if you want to get hype, like if you're working out or something like that, I mean, there's some hardcore music. I mean, I think music can just amplify every part of your life, really. I mean, there's something for everything. You want to cry? There's a lot of music out there that's going to make you cry, you know. You just need to get some emotions out. There it is. Rage, oh, man. I bring back to Yeet, you know.
Oh, yeah.
That's just straight flames.
So you say it's like an outlet for you.
It is definitely an
Oh,
outlet,
it's
yeah. For
absolutely an outlet.
creatively, lifestyle-ly, definitely.
I mean, would you say you grew up on music, or you found it one year? Like, have you always been listening to music, or is it something you?
I mean, like, you know, music, you can't really avoid music. It's always playing in the background somehow. So, I mean, I've heard it in, like, shopping malls and stuff. But I didn't really get into it hardcore until, like, 7th grade. And I was pretty much just into, like, 80s music and, like, older stuff. But then I started to... I don't know when it was. I think it's when I got Instagram and I was open up to all these pages that just talk about different kinds of music. And I was like, that sounds pretty cool. So then I just got into it really hardcore from there. So... yeah, I don't know if I grew up on it. I wasn't in a, like, they didn't like spin a record on the gramophone or anything. I mean, it was just kind of like, I just kind of found it.
Well, I know, Jack, you have a brother. Did he influence your music taste at all?
Not at all. I mean, David will play songs in the car sometimes, and I'll be like, oh, okay, that's a good song, like Kid Cudi or something like that. Like, he got me into Kid Cudi for sure, but I mean, I don't really listen to Cudi that often anyway. But yeah, I mean, kind of, but he was never like, Jack, have you ever heard of music? You know, it's not like, it didn't really spark anything in me, but we definitely share, we have a lot of overlap in our tastes.
I think that's honestly where I differ from you. My father, you know, he's been in a few bands. As I was growing up, he was in a band called Junk. And honestly, in 8th grade, I found a video of them on YouTube, and I thought that was pretty cool. How, like, even though it didn't have very many views, but, like, the fact that they were still out on that outlet, you know. He was definitely a big influence on music. And growing up, you know, he used to try and teach me how to play guitar. Of course, you know, me being, like, 8 years old, I had no idea how to do that. But, you know, now that I'm older, I definitely have an interest in guitar. He just showed me so much music, so much rock, you know, gospel stuff, just really everything around the board. The Killers especially, he loves those guys. And I just think it definitely impacted me when I was growing up. Maybe not when I was super young, but really like 5th grade-ish. It hit heavy there, man. I used to talk to him about music a lot. He definitely shares his interest in music still, and I share mine with him. I listen to a lot of stuff he wouldn't like nowadays, though.
Yeah.
But I still do listen to a lot of stuff that he introduced to me mid-'90s, early '80s. He's really big into that kind of music.
He is one cool mamma jamma, for sure. And guitar, I still don't know how to go play guitar at all. You mentioned that. And then, what I really wanted to come back to is you mentioned something about gospel music. I guess that it would be my introduction to music. I went to church back when I was, like, religious and stuff. I went to church, and gospel music was always there. And, you know, there's, like, a lot of people connected with that really strongly, and it, like, lifts you up closer to God or whatever people feel about gospel music. I mean, it had never had that effect on me, but I was always kind of interested seeing all these people, like, getting really emotional over singing these songs. And I was like, okay, well, surely there's something there for me. I remember when I used to get really anxious because I have, you know, those problems. I would just listen to music, and then, like, just sitting somewhere in my room just trying to calm down, music would always help, and it still does. So, I mean, I guess that's kind of, as an outlet, that's just kind of how it started, I guess.
So would you say that over the years your taste of music has significantly changed?
Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I mean, it started off, and I was just really only listening to the 80s. I was like, nowadays music is garbage. You know, I was like that cringy Redditor band kid. So I couldn't help it. It's part of me. But now I listen to garbage, dude. I mean, it is almost borderline objectively garbage. I mean, like Animal Collective, it's just nonsense. I mean, I love it. You know, if Mr. Kern's listening to this, he's going to love this name drop, Animal Collective. I love their music a lot. If 8-year-old me heard the music I listen to now, he would cry bitter tears and never forgive me and do everything he could to not turn out like me. But I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it definitely has changed.
Is there like a reason that it's changed, or just like how life goes?
I got exposed to more things, really. I opened up more tastes. I was like, when you hear enough of one kind of thing, you're like, okay, I feel like I've kind of explored all this. What's next? And then you just keep pushing further and further until it's like either songs that are all endless broadcast frequency noise or complete silence except for like one bell every 10 minutes. That is actually one album that I like a lot. It's literally like complete silence, and then occasionally it'll go boom. That's it. It's 45 minutes, and I have it on vinyl. It's really good.
Sounds like a scam.
I think
whatever, dude. There's only 1,000 of them, and it's a clear vinyl, so it's pretty cool.
Did you have it on vinyl?
I do have it, dude. I love it.
That's actually really cool.
I love that album so much.
I definitely think that my music taste used to be like super closeted and closed off. I really would only listen to rock, mostly metal, because that's what my dad was into. You know, he's a metal band, metal
hardcore
guy. And like I got exposed to some like softer rock, more alternative stuff, but still, that's like the only stuff I would listen to. I just made that playlist and I'd only listen to it, and then, you know, meeting you and some of our other friends and you guys listening and talking about music, and I was like, you know what, maybe I should try some of this stuff, and you know, that really opened me up and let me explore music and be comfortable with listening to new stuff. So I definitely think that's what changed my music taste. But yeah, no, agreeing with you, if like 8-year-old me, 10-year-old me saw the music I listened to now, he'd probably try and beat me up. He would not be happy at all.
So would you say your friends are more of an impact than your family on what music you listen to?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I definitely have to say that.
Like, even though your dad's in a band, I mean.
Well, I mean, looking at it from like my standpoint, my dad's in a band and stuff, and like I used to go in and sit in with his practices a lot, and so that affected me. But the music they play is really kind of like old, you know, like Jesse's Girl. They used to play at the actually at the what's it called? Oh, I don't remember.
Persimmon Festival?
No, well, they have played at the Persimmon Festival, but the shelter for old people. I don't know what it's called.
Mitchell Manor or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
They used to play at Mitchell Manor, and
Mhm.
they would cater to the old people there, obviously, so they played a lot of older songs. And
So you were exposed to a lot of that.
I was exposed to that, but meeting Jack and listening to the kind of music they have, I think that really had a bigger effect on me because I just enjoy that music more, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. And so you all play instruments, right?
Yep.
No. Yeah.
Yes. And Cody, you mentioned your dad played guitar. So was that your first instrument?
Actually, it was not.
It was not.
No. I played trumpet as my first
Trumpet,
instrument.
Ooh. Was that actually your first?
It was actually my first.
Man.
I had no interest in guitar when I was younger. I mean, if you want to get real technical about it, I mean, I picked up a guitar before I picked a trumpet up. But, like, my dad had me play it. There's a really old video of me on a flip phone somewhere of me playing a D chord on guitar horribly, and I guess
we need to find that.
I guess
we
you
gotta service that
could.
one.
I guess you could count that as my first instrument, but like the one that I actually like played, it would be trumpet.
Practice on a consistent
Yeah.
basis. What about you, Jack?
Mine, there was like, okay, so in my old house back on like 9th Street or whatever, there was like this little old toy keyboard that I never really messed with, but it went with a bunch of different moves with us. And then one day I just saw it, the sun was hitting it beautifully, and I saw the white gleam of the keys, and I was like, oh yeah, give me
It was
that.
meant to be.
And it was for toddlers. It made like cat noises and stuff like that. But that's how I started. In 5th grade, there was that thing that Miss Ramey hosted. You don't know about that side, but Cody knows.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
this anti-bullying program. It was terrible, but it had the music was also terrible. I didn't like any part of that, and I had to dance to it. But one of the songs we did for a Veterans Day program with Miss Ramey was I have no clue what it was. I don't remember it at all. But we had to sing it as like a little choir piece, and then I was like, oh, I want to play that. So I just started pressing the notes until it sounded like the one that it would play, and then I figured out the whole song, and I just played it frequently. I still know how it goes. I can perform it right now if you'd like me to.
You're a boy genius.
Thank you, oh thank you. That's what it was. Men and
I
women,
remember
brave and
that.
strong.
I remember that.
It was
They
terrible.
really had children up on that stage singing to those old people.
they really did.
So, Cody,
Yeah.
I have seen you play guitar before. You brought it to school one time for show and tell.
I have.
So is that your favorite instrument, not the
know,
trumpet?
I think that I'm going to have to say it's my favorite instrument. You know, growing up in band, 5 years, I really liked the trumpet, but it's just like string instruments have a different kind of feel. They just have a completely different mood about them whenever you're playing them. It's really, really just a completely different experience. And to be completely honest, I could go into it for days. But, mouth instruments, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the trumpet, dude. Playing it is so peaceful sometimes when you can just sit alone in your room and compose your own music. But something about being able to play chords, that just sings to me. That hits my soul a lot different than
Your soul
trumpet.
music.
It is really just a completely different thing. It's just, I would absolutely have to say it's my favorite. I don't even think there's any competition.
That's what made bands so special, because it takes these instruments that are just like leads, and then you could make chords with different people playing different parts, and then it really brought out that instrument in a new light, and it made it pretty cool. But yeah, I always thought like a trumpet that you like press a certain thing and it would be able to like play chords. That'd be so cool. I don't know how we would go about making that. We should totally patent that though before someone takes that
Get an
idea.
instrument.
And there probably is something like that. There's like a bunch of weird instruments. There's like that one frog thing where it's like
Oh, yeah,
if you
yeah. I've
slide
seen
the
that.
hammer-
yeah, it's like a
You
little
slide
frog.
the hammer down it, but actually there's a way to play a two-tone chord on a trumpet. You have to hum a different note and it'll come out
Oh,
of the bell.
okay, yeah.
It's really, really difficult. I still
Yeah, okay,
can't do it.
so like I mean like an easier way to do it.
no.
Then, I
There's
guess.
no easy way to do it, but you can still do it.
Yeah, well, then I want a trumpet that can make it easy for me, because then I have to actually try and apply myself, and that's a big no-no.
Oh, that's too hard now.
Yeah. I thought the same thing for the trombone, which, man, I hate that instrument so much.
Was that your first instrument?
No, the
Or the
keyboard was,
keyboard,
and
yeah,
then the
yeah.
trombone I played in band, and
Okay.
I wanted to quit. I didn't like the trombone. I was like, oh man, I really want to quit, and then my mom was like, stick with it. So I did for a little bit, and then I was like, oh, I do like it. Then I realized, no, I don't. So then I dropped out after like 5 years in band. I cannot believe I played in that band that long. But then our band director left, and yeah, I don't know if you ever. Well, did you ever meet Mr. Winzak?
I don't think I ever met him.
Yeah.
I think I've seen him in the hallway before, but I never actually talked to him.
Bald, angry, Beatles loving,
Yeah.
sweet Pete. He was such a nice guy.
Yeah.
I really liked Mr. Winzak, but he was a little Beatle heavy sometimes. Just fine.
Oh man, playing Let It Be our sophomore
Every day,
year,
every day.
single
That he knew he was retiring at that point. He's like, I gotta make him play Let It Be every single day.
was so horrible.
That was his guilty pleasure.
If you handed me a trumpet right now, I could play that perfectly, the entire song to you.
Yeah.
That's ingrained in my memory forever. and the what the wubba lubba dub dub moment, dude.
What the wubba lubba dub dub is? What's that?
When he said that to Cameron Shaw, dude, that was just so funny.
That was.
Some old gray-headed man trying to be hip and cool with the, like the new students.
I don't know
dude.
why he said that. I really
just-
don't. It was on his shirt. I don't think he was trying to pander to us, but I really don't get. I didn't get the method.
He was just
I
having
didn't-
fun, man. Come on.
Yeah. Okay.
It was
Sorry,
it
Hank.
was pretty funny in my opinion.
It was funny, but he got some laughs
I miss that man sometimes.
sometimes on rare occasions.
So, Jack, are you saying the keyboard is your favorite instrument of all time?
Yeah, that was my first and my favorite. Definitely the keyboard. It's a string. So the piano technically is my favorite.
Yeah.
The keyboard allows you to do with every software program that you're making music with, the keyboard is there, like to make little noises for synths like that. If you don't have another instrument, even if you're just playing on like a little computer keyboard with little keys, it'll give you a keyboard to play with. That's how you make noise. That is the center of music production. A guitar would be second, but then again, you have to actually own a guitar, right? You don't even have to have a keyboard to be able to make the noises that a synthesizer can give you. But piano is my favorite. Yeah, it's a string instrument, so I totally agree with Cody on the string instruments.
String
Pianos are
superiority.
beautiful, and man, I wish I had one, but they were like £1 million and $1 million, so I can't.
You could save up.
Yeah, that's definitely what I want to do
save
with
up
my
for
money.
Hey, dude, you know what? You could do what's his name? Bald guy. He really likes money and Christianity. No, we used
Winzak?
to. No. No, he's a professional financial advisor.
Who are you talking about?
Oh,
kinda looks like
the Jerry
Tim
Cheney
Hayward.
guy.
He kind of looks like Tim. Hayward.
Oh, Dave Ramsey.
Yeah,
Dave Ramsey.
yeah.
Dave
how
Ramsey.
did you not know his name?
Dude.
I
That's
forgot
my
his name
fault.
too.
That's my fault, but you could be like Dave Ramsey, you know.
I could. I
Did
don't
you
think
know
I want to
he
be.
released a statement very recently, and I know this is off topic, but he said, "Don't buy a new car until you get $1 million."
Yeah, until your net worth is $1 million, do not buy a car.
Okay,
I'm like,
then you could buy a new piano with that one.
Yeah, he's right. That's the same philosophy
Don't buy
I
a
have
new
for
piano
instruments.
until you get $1 million.
So you guys mentioned you were a part of a band, and what year did you join this band? Was it the school band? I
Sixth
assume?
grade.
Sixth grade.
Yep.
Sixth grade for
Fresh
both
in the
of
middle
us.
school.
And then I dropped out sophomore year, or I think I played through my sophomore year and dropped out at the end of that, and then started junior year. I didn't play anymore. Cody hung on for a year more than I did.
God.
So both of you have dropped out at this point, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
we're out. We're
yes.
out.
But would you say your experience in that band was beneficial to your musical life?
No.
No?
I mean, yeah, it definitely was. It taught me more about music. It didn't open me up to new songs. I didn't want to try anything new after hearing the things we performed there, but it did encourage me to go home and practice more. But it took away pride from my keyboard, which I love. And
There's
I
no
had to do
keyboard
it-
in band or anything?
Well, there is apparently,
is.
but he was like, no, there's no keyboard, no such thing, no piano.
He
He's
just
like,
wouldn't let him switch.
he's like, you gotta play that trombone. You're so good at it. And I'm like, oh, really, Mr. Winzak? So it's all about you and not what I want. That's fine.
I mean, to be completely honest, I want to say no, but it's really the only reason that I started playing guitar.
Mm.
Mr. Winzak promised that I could switch to bass because our bass player was leaving. I mean, that promise never came to fruition.
Yeah.
But I started practicing for it, and I started playing bass. And then my dad was like, why don't you try guitar? And I was like, oh, well, I'm going to play bass in the band. I don't know if that's a good idea. He gave me one of his really old guitars. It's an Ibanez. It's gray. It had a lot of stickers on it. It's basically like a family heirloom. And so I started playing on that. Dude, that thing doesn't keep tune. It's horrible. It was just actually the worst. And I started playing songs on it. And the first song that I learned how to play was Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes.
Oh, my.
And the worst part about it was the guitar wouldn't stay in tune. So I'm playing this song. It just sounds horrible. I'm going to be completely honest. Just actually the worst. But somehow that is what clicked with me. I was like, dude, this is freaking awesome. And I just wanted to keep playing even though it sounded horrible.
Playing for a long time and then finally looking back and like hearing old performances, like my keyboard, my older one, I can log into like performances that I made or like things that I would record onto it from like 6th grade, and I was like, oh, let's see what Jack did, and it's just, I mean, the most embarrassingly disgusting basic chord progression garbage in the world.
I mean, you got to start
Playing,
somewhere.
Yeah, playing, yeah, obviously, but playing and then knowing you're good, like playing something really cool. Like recently, I've been getting into Claude Debussy. That's his name. He Arabesque #1. I've started playing that. It's this beautiful piano piece. It's hard, but I can play it now, and it's so good. It feels so nice to play like an actual fully realized song and learn it. Like I learned No Surprises by Radiohead. Spoilers for the Radiohead episode, but I learned how to play that more recently and like actually have it sound nice instead of just basic you know. So it's just fun. I like going home and messing with it. It's a great way to pass the time.
I think band definitely taught me how to be able to go home and practice my own music, and it definitely helped me be able to build myself musically because, I mean, I do have my dad who's a guitar mentor, but still, even with that, it's just still difficult to, you know, learn a new instrument and teach yourself practically. And the experience that I had in band, even though, you know, in the final couple of years, couple months, it was not really all that good, it still benefited me completely and utterly. So I can't say it didn't.
So you're saying, although you didn't enjoy band itself and playing all like the responsibilities you had to do for playing and marching or whatever you're doing, but you did get the ability to go home and practice and
Discipline
discipline yourself.
It definitely gave me experience. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair for sure. But you weren't a huge fan of the actual band itself.
No.
Yeah, no.
I didn't like most of the
A lot of people
in
there
band.
weren't there to actually be good. Like they were just there to get an easy
Free
A because
A,
they knew
yeah.
Hank wasn't going to do
that
anything
was my
about
biggest
it.
problem with it. I was super big on like actually being a part of the band. I remember one time, you know, this is gonna be funny, but Despacito, you know that song?
Yeah.
We got that as one of our pieces in 7th and 8th grade band, and I went home and learned it that night. That night I
Whoa.
went home and learned that piece.
Just
And
to
I came
play
to
it for
band the
band.
next day, and there was a solo for the trumpets, and I was the only one that played it. Not gonna brag or anything, but still, it's just like to be that committed to something and nobody else around you have that same energy. It's kind of like detrimental, you know. It just makes you feel bad.
I mean, you were standing out there. You were the spotlight.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have
Cody
the
was
spotlight
always
all
the
the time.
spotlight, except for, I mean, Steven, what a G. He's so good at holding tones, especially high tones. He's unreal. He's such a sweet little guy. Anyway, this is the Steven podcast. I gotta move on. That should be one of our episodes.
Just about Steven.
Experiences playing with Steven. That's question number 7.
So, band or music is obviously a huge part of your life, but how much time do you spend on like a weekly or daily basis just messing around with music?
How many, like in hours or days?
Just,
I mean, like,
just
dude,
how
I
much of your
spend.
day?
I'd say I spend like an hour or two a day messing around with things,
Like-
either on my phone, on GarageBand, playing
like physical
with my keyboard.
instruments, making your own music, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I make a song. I have on my iPhone, I think like actually 530 songs roughly that I made. I mean, I am always making something at any given point in time. I'm either learning how to get better at keyboard. I'm either learning how to do like technical things better, or I'm making actual music on my, like when I do it on my phone, I don't really have like a MIDI keyboard to connect to it or anything, so I can't show my technical genius or anything. So I just have to kind of like make songs, you know, based on the like. You have to use like, I don't want to get into it. You have to use like a little scroll bar and assign the notes to each individual. You're not playing. You're not
Yeah.
playing live really. And if you are, there's a delay between my headphones and my phone. So if I play, it throws my performance off. You know, it's like I'm either learning how to perform or I'm learning how to make music. That's what I'm doing.
Compose the music.
That is the right word.
I would say my experience is a little bit different now. If we're going to be completely honest, I really do listen to music like 24/7.
True.
Well, that's a different thing. Like,
I-
how much time do you spend on physical instruments
Physical
or making your own
instruments,
music or
so
practicing that kind of
The
stuff?
funny part is even while I'm working on my instruments, I'm listening to music.
You're double tasking.
So, realistically, I don't compose that much music on my phone, but dude, I have so many guitar songs in my back pocket. It is not okay.
So you just go home and play guitar for
I go
a few
home and
hours?
I get my acoustic out and I'll set it on my bed, and whenever I'm in between playing a video game or
homework
know,
or stuff like
doing
that.
homework, it's just constantly in my hands. I have to say 2 to 3 hours every single day.
Cody, I have a question for you. I'm taking over this podcast.
yeah.
Acoustic or electric?
Dude, you know, it really depends what kind of music you want to make, but for me personally, I gotta go electric all the way.
I I'm acoustic for sure.
Acoustic is
The effects you can apply, the electric guitar can be so versatile, but the playing styles and the strumming styles you can incorporate, like you can do strumming styles and stuff with electric, but that's more for like playing like lead stuff, you know. Chords still exist obviously, but for an acoustic guitar, just like Alan Gogol, just go, you know, he's just so good. The way you can like touch the acoustic guitar, and it's just beautiful. You know, there's so many. I'm biased. 99% of the music I listen to is just sad dudes with guitars just
what I will say
into their mics.
is acoustic will make you better at playing every other guitar.
Yep.
The string thickness is a lot more. So let's say that you're going to play acoustic. If you learn a song on acoustic, you already know how to play it on electric, and it'll be even easier. It'll be maybe like 30-40% easier. It is insane. I played acoustic straight, only acoustic for like maybe 3 months, and then I picked up my electric for the first time, and I was amazed at how much better I was. It was just completely different.
So for my sake, I know almost nothing about guitars. Like, how many different guitars are, like, types of guitars are
Okay,
there?
so like brand of guitar.
Not brand, like different strings, different
type-
sizes, stuff like
I
that.
mean, so you got your mandolins, you got your ukuleles, you got your guitars, you got your electric guitar, you have your bass guitar, you have your. What did I do wrong? Cody just said, "I'm gonna kill you" into the microphone.
I would never. No, okay. I think we should let the guitar master.
Yeah, I say we should let Cody.
Dude,
do
I
this
play
one.
guitar too, but you're the who's the master? Who's the master? It's you. It's you.
Well, to be quite frank with you, Cy Edward Banker, building off of what Jack said, there are
Nice.
a lot of different guitars, and there are a lot of different string sizes. There's a lot of different string companies, you know. So acoustic normally has a thicker string gauge. It's what we call the gauge. It is the circumference of the string.
Yeah, I can do that.
And so basically, the smaller gauge you have, the smaller thickness of the string. Normally, the highest string is going to be the smallest thickness, and the largest string is going to be the lowest sounding string is going to be the largest thickness. On acoustic, strings are much, much thicker. I would say there's 6 strings on a guitar. You know, there's acoustic guitars. There are electric guitars. Those are the main types of lead guitars.
12 string.
I'm getting there, buddy. there are 12-string guitars, and they are beautiful.
They are beautiful.
Well,
They are
string.
beautiful.
If they weren't $5,000, I would absolutely buy one.
They're mainly used in sort of like a Spanish style. They are really prevalent in that industry, and man, when I tell you that they are beautiful, they look beautiful, they sound beautiful. It's just I would own one if I could right
It's
now.
like the
Okay,
Rolls Royce of guitars.
Dude,
Absolutely.
I gotta explain how weird I
Absolutely.
always thought it was just like 12 strings evenly spaced out like there's
Nope.
6. No, it is two strings like right next to each other in the regular. So it's like, you know how a guitar is like string, 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 string. This one is string, 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 and it's like
So it's just like super wide.
They
it's
are-
like two little
no,
stringies space, two little stringies, two strings space, instead of string space, string space,
They're
string
the
space.
same
It's
space apart. It's just that they are layered right next to each
Oh,
other.
okay.
yeah.
So there's 2 strings right next to each other. So like if you were, let's say, on the low E, which is the first string, well, technically it's the 6th string, but it's the 6th string. It's the lowest note. Normally you would, put your finger on it. Just one string is being pressed down.
Yeah.
With the 6th string, you put your finger down, 2 are pushed down. So it can create these beautiful harmonics and these melodies, and it is just insane.
So it sounds like it almost like layer the sounds.
Yes, it's practically just a layer. Yeah, it is
That's-
beautiful.
It is so great. That one car seat headrest song that just starts with a 12 string solo, and it's just the most beautiful thing I've ever heard in my life. Every time it hits my ears, I want to cry. It's so good.
Sounds amazing. You should for
And
sure
then
get one.
For the
Yeah, okay.
for the actual sounds of the
I'm trying
guitars,
to save up.
normally what affects that is the bridge and the pickups. The pickups are they're only on electric guitars, and they are what grab the string sound and display it into the amp. It's basically like the input. And how that works is magnets. They're literally just magnets.
Magnets in the guitar.
If you take a metal object and you tap it on the pickups, it'll make a noise. It is really cool. My dad taught me that one. And there are different sounds. There are different styles of pickups. You can have a 2 pickup, you can have 3 pickups, 4, and depending on the pickup position, the strings are going to sound different. So you can get completely different tones out of your guitar just by switching which pickup you're using.
Yeah.
And that's mainly just how not acoustics, how electrics work. Acoustics, the way they create sound is having a resonance chamber, and that's why
Yeah.
they're so much bulkier.
Big
But
hole in
still,
the middle.
that's also why they sound so much beautiful. So much beautiful.
So much-
That's why they sound a lot more fuller. They just have a better, larger, bigger sound.
I'm not gonna lie. I never knew guitars were so complicated.
Oh,
They're just strings.
Man,
It's a
yeah,
lot.
It's speaking of pick. No, never mind. We don't got time for this.
Okay, Jack. Earlier you mentioned you have over like 530 songs on your phone.
Yeah.
Right. So out of not even just including those, like everything you've made, anything you've made, like all of your band experiences or classroom experiences, what is your favorite piece of musical art that you've created? It could be a collaboration of you both, or just your
So
single
I had
favorite.
the most fun probably doing like economic ties with Cody, what we
Oh,
did for our
yeah.
economy class, or like any of the songs with Dead House were so fun. I love Dead House so much.
And
That
Dead
was,
House
like,
is your band, right?
yeah, that was peak, or like old band. It's not really active anymore.
Yeah.
We posed like most recently like 2 songs ago. Now I just do my own stuff. I guess in terms of like what I think technically impressive, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I made something more recently that I was really happy with, but I don't know. I've started posting music that I make to like Instagram and like telling people. So those are the things I'm usually more proud of. You know, it's not like every single time I make a song, it is in and out 15 minutes to like 2
15
hours.
minutes. 2 hours?
Yeah, that is the length of it. I don't think I have never worked on a piece, set it down, and came back to it.
Yeah.
Spare for like 1 or maybe 3 times in my time of making stuff. So I just like, because then I get worked out of the groove and I don't know what I was like envisioning in my head. I have to get
things.
If I do put down a piece, I have to get everything out in one thing. I guess the best I've ever done was, I don't know, Yawn. I was inspired by the album we talked about earlier, which is like a bell. So it has like a bell over and over again.
Oh, yeah.
It does that like over and over again, and it slowly gets more and more layered, and then everything fades out, and then it comes back with like this really high note. And it's not like a high note. It's like a beautiful, serene.
An angel's
then,
voice.
Yeah, and then you hear the bell come in again and it feels complete. And I'm really happy that I made that. Every time I hear that part in the song, I'm like, oh, I'm a genius. You know, I like it. It was pretty much an accident when I was messing around with reverb, but it was so good. That is my favorite.
Accident.
That's definitely my favorite. Yeah, Yawn. That's definitely it.
What are you, Cody?
So I don't really compose a lot of music. Most recently, I composed Economic Ties with Jack. Last year, I had to make a project for our AP Language and Composition class, and I think I did pretty good on that. But guitar is really where I specialize. I'm kind of, I'm a copycat. I'm not even going to lie. But my favorite song that I have ever learned on guitar is probably Tears in Heaven, because I played that at my sister's wedding as she was
Ooh.
walking down the aisle. So
By Clapton?
yeah,
Is that
by
Eric Clapton? Yeah.
By Eric Clapton. It's definitely not like favorite, like actual like finger or articulation wise, but like just the value it holds to me. It means more than me, because as soon as she got done walking down the aisle, she sprinted out. I was scared. I thought like she like broke her foot or something. I'm running back to her, and she's just bawling her eyes out. She's like, that was the most beautiful thing I've ever heard in my life. And it really meant a lot to me. But like, if we're talking just pure like raw joy I get out of playing a song, man, there's really only one. I've got to go with Weird Fishes by Radiohead. Weird Fishes by Radiohead.
Weird Fishes / Arpeggi by Radiohead actually is the title of that song. Just
Yeah,
saying.
correct.
Yeah, you really had to do that. Was that
Yeah,
required?
I did.
Yeah, okay.
Because I was listening it today.
Well, I'm changing my answer then. It's actually, which Red Hot Chili Peppers song do I want to choose?
All of them.
Californication, the most indie of picks.
Absolutely
Oh,
not.
yeah.
We're going with Scar Tissue.
Scar tissue.
That's fair.
So, you mentioned your economic ties assignment for economics,
Mhm.
right? And so that was a play off of Family Ties by Baby Keem, correct?
And we
Yeah.
like that song. We like that
And
song.
so how long did a project like that take you to make when you're both collaborating?
It took me, so I pulled the instrumental from YouTube, pirated it, or not, I recreated it. I put my own twist on it. It wasn't the exact instrumental, and that kind of bummed me out. There was a point where it's supposed to go like bam, 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 but it didn't do that. But yeah, it kind of killed it. I could have added it, but I didn't want to because I just wanted to be done with.
Yeah.
So for something like this that's a little bit less serious, and we're not actually making the instrumental for it, it took like, between the two of us, probably 3 hours. My part took, I think, like an hour and a half to record and get right and get all the cadences and the flows of the GOAT Kendrick Lamar
Yeah.
correct. Because I'm not quite Kendrick, if you can believe
I know.
that. So it took a bit to try to match his energy and his aggression on that song. So yeah, it took like an hour and a half for me. And then when I sent it to
every
Cody,
bit of about 2 hours.
Yeah.
Because I've never really used GarageBand before. Eventually I got in the flow and it became like really, I became proficient with using it.
Yeah, you learned quick.
But before that, dude, I was struggling. I was texting Jack. I'm like, dude, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Panicking.
You gotta help me.
I mean, I listened to it and I was pretty amazed. So that's not a terrible.
I mean,
amount
we
of time
did get full bonus points.
That
for
is true.
We
assignment.
did. We got every little point and then 10 extra for that assignment. So I loves everything we make, because we're the goats.
Yeah, you're the
Absolutely.
best.
It's because
best
I'm
musicians I've ever
actually
heard.
Baby Keem. If you guys didn't know that.
So would you say that's pretty average for your projects?
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
definitely.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely.
It's gotten to the point where I can practically learn anything I want on guitar as long as I'm in the right mindset. My problem is I'll just be sitting there, and if I don't play it right the first time, I'm like, I can't do this. This is stupid. But once I get past that, I really could just sit down and learn just about anything.
I mean, yeah, that's a good skill to have for sure. What would you guys say is objectively the most versatile and or best instrument?
So I kind of touched on this one earlier with the keyboard talk. I love me my keyboard, so I really think it is that you can make like infinite amount of noises with it, and I mean you can produce the exact same tone as other instruments. There are certain things you can't perfectly replicate, like how a guitar will slide, but you can get the tone dead on exactly
Yeah.
the same. But I mean, I think in terms of like objectively opening up your world as like a starter instrument and then just going out forever and being able to touch so many different bases, it's got to be the keyboard or the piano.
God, I'd really like to agree with you. I can't.
Bias.
I am biased. I guess I'm just biased, but I gotta go with guitar. It is just so perfect. It is a string instrument just like the piano, It's not as versatile. It can't create as many sounds, but boy, oh boy, if I'm not... I'd be lying if I didn't say that it's probably the most fun thing I've ever done in my entire life. It will completely change your life. It'll literally make you just love music. And granted, I love how guitar sounds, and it is my favorite sound ever to create it. Ever to be created. So
You created the guitar.
yeah, I actually created the guitar, guys.
But you can create your own tone. Creating
is
your own tone on guitar, and that'll put some hair on your chest. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone's got to play
yeah.
guitar at some point, and then like make a tone that's all their own, and then just blow everyone's mind. Like everyone so many guitars have their own signature style, especially with bass guitars too. Like Les Claypool, I mean, his is like,
God.
They get famous.
it's hype.
Getting your own style is really what makes guitar fun, and I love playing it.
In my limited knowledge, I'd say probably keyboards are more versatile because I feel like you'd be hard pressed to find a song that doesn't use keyboards in some way.
Oh yeah.
Looks like I won the
any
debate.
sound. I'm not saying you won the debate, but
Well, it
I
also
feel
says
like
best instrument. So
for most versatile, I'd say keyboards in my limited knowledge. However, as being fun to play, I feel like if I knew how to play guitar, I'd enjoy it a
Hey,
lot.
but, let's be
I
real.
don't want to put in the time.
can
honestly.
you go out on the street and just play your keyboard?
I mean, he could.
Ever heard of a keytar? You gosh darn
Guitar.
guitar. It combines the best of both worlds, Cody.
That's true. Maybe we should both start playing
Yeah,
guitars.
maybe we should
Yeah,
just start a guitar band.
But it's definitely more keyboard than it is guitar for sure. Guitar is just something you swing around your neck as a keyboard.
Okay.
What, you disagree?
You
That's just a
disagree.
fact, dude. I'm just stating actual literal facts.
So we touched on the best and most versatile instrument. What would you say the worst sounding and or least versatile instrument to play?
Least
Yes.
versus like
it
the
has to be a
theremin.
mouth. The theremin. Are you serious?
That thing sucks.
You got to explain what that is for people.
Yeah, I have
who
no
don't
idea what
know.
that is.
Okay, so for the theremin, I wish I could demonstrate with my hands, but again, no one's gonna be able to actually see this. So it's like you have this little weird surfboard type looking thing. It's like a short little long pill shaped object with a big needle, like a big antenna on it. And when you put your hand on one part of it, you can it makes a ooh, and then
And
you
you
raise
physically
your
touch
hand.
it?
You get further away to make it quieter, and you go up higher to change the pitch.
So you're not touching the instrument.
You are not touching it. It detects your hand and will move with it. Now, there's like a laser harp, which is kind of like a theremin, but it's way. This one guy played the Tetris theme on it. There's a YouTube video. If you Google theremin, that's probably the first video, even though it's not an actual theremin. He like touches laser, goes. Brr, 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 brr. It's so cool. But the regular theremin, I have not heard one person make that thing not sound just like screeching, evil demon banshees. It is the worst sounding. Or people take the doo-doo out of the bagpipes quite a bit. And I think bagpipes are beautiful. Like, if I was at a funeral, an Irish funeral, and I heard those bagpipes blaring, I would cry my eyes out. I would shrivel up and die, dude. Bagpipes are a gorgeous instrument.
Do you want me to learn bagpipes for your funeral?
Please. Dear God.
I'll show up.
You're not outliving me, brother.
So honestly,
Hey.
for that,
Not with that keto diet.
The worst sounding, worst sounding, dude. I really would have to go with something like the Metz Carillon. It's just this giant bell tower.
A bell tower? How's it an
It's a
instrument?
giant
Bro,
bell
I mean,
tower.
that is an
Bell tower.
instrument.
I
That is an
guess, but
instrument.
still.
But like,
No. Well, listen. How it's an instrument is you play it. It
Oh,
is
you
a
do?
bell tower that you play.
Oh.
And, dude, I just don't like how bells sound, really. I'm
Just
gonna be
loud and
completely
annoying.
honest. So there's only 13 of them in the world. And they're really interesting, and one's actually really close to here. It's at IU, and you can take a class to learn how to play it. But dude, I can't get behind that. I really can't.
So you wouldn't take that class?
No. Well, I would, because you'd get the bragging rights of, hey, there's 13 of these in the world. I know how
I
to
can
play
play
it.
one of-
But
yeah.
it just I just don't think it would sound good.
Yeah. I've never heard of either of those instruments. I mean, I heard of bell tower, but like I didn't know you could play bell towers. That's definitely interesting. But
You
is
ever
it-
watched The Hunchback of Notre Dame?
I have not actually.
What?
Really?
I may have watched the animated version when I was young, but I don't really
Dude,
remember
the
it.
one with Lon Chaney is so good.
That's oh yeah, that is The Hunchback. Yeah, I was thinking the Disney one, but yeah,
Disney.
I guess he does that. Lon Chaney, Giggy would be squealing
Rolling
if he
in
knew we
his
were talking
grave.
about Lon Chaney right now. He loves Lon Chaney.
So let's go back to band, right?
Please.
What
let's.
was your least favorite instrument in band? Like you may not have played
Flute.
it, just sounding.
Flute?
Is it because of the
Even the
player
mo-
or the instrument?
Well, the players were garbage. I'm
Okay.
name dropping the players.
Don't name
right
drop.
Now. I'm not, no, I'm not gonna. But the people who played, some were fine, some were not fine at all. They was just so terrible, and it's such a screechy instrument. There's no pleasure in hearing the flute. Even the best flute players cannot make that thing sound good.
Yeah.
It is such a bad
I
instrument.
mean, the only good thing that flute has is it plays at such a high frequency that it can be heard over everything else. But when it doesn't sound good, you don't want it to
That's
be
not a
heard
good
over
thing.
everything else. So I genuinely have to agree with Jack. But if I can't, if it's one option, one all, I'm instantly going for the clarinet, dude.
As worst?
Oh,
Clarinet?
wow. Oh my gosh.
Like Squidward, man?
Dude, Squidward.
No, dude. Yeah, Squidward is an example that helps me, dude. He plays it awfully, dude. He does not sound good.
Exactly. Okay. Well, I mean, if you're okay, it's not what's the worst instrument if it's played bad.
Yeah,
It's
no,
what's the
I'm
worst
just saying
instrument if it's played
it's
good.
also just the worst. I just don't like how it sounds.
Whatever. Jacob
It-
Mooneyham played the clarinet. So
Yeah,
I
Jacob
can't hate it. I
Mooneyham
can't
was
hate
kinda
it too
I
much.
fire.
can't hit on that.
He played the Star Wars theme with me while I soloed on the trombone to it. It was great.
I wanna
That
hear
was pretty awesome. I
That was
will
peak.
admit.
Back when he was in band. Rip.
So, you guys were in band, right,
No.
for a number of years.
Yep.
And what sort of competitions did you guys participate in? Like, besides just doing home games and stuff like that, what actual competitions against other schools or
Okay, so
entities?
look, Hank would have never dreamed of competing against anyone else. He knew we weren't good. We just played so the parents and that the schools would be like, "Yo, we have a band," but we were not good. He would never want to compete. We played at games like basketball games. It's not really a competition. The
Yeah.
closest thing to a competition we ever did with him, he left for the people who don't know, and then it got replaced with Mr. Tibbs, Zach. So Hank, then Zach. And Zach was really into trying to do more competitive things. I can't speak on anything of that because I left when I heard that Hank was leaving. So
Oh, I
I
can.
yeah, I'm sure Cody
I
can.
can
So I'll let
speak
him die.
volumes.
The only thing we did with Hank was the Festival of the Bands, but that wasn't a competition. It was just kind of, look, we have a big band because everyone's playing together. It was a cooperative type thing. It really was not a fight or a battle or anything like that. It was
Yeah.
just kind of like the most hype moment was at the start. They were like had every instrument, like every section's like, all right, trombones play B flat, and it was like, and it like filled the entire gymnasium with the sound of pure trombone bliss, and that was pretty great. But they randomly assigned you seats, so I wasn't next to my friends, so that was pretty brutal. I did not like Festival of the Bands; it was terrible, but that part was cool.
They would specifically split you up so you couldn't sit next to people from your school.
Yep.
Oh, that's stupid.
All 3 years that I went, it would be me in between, and so basically, Steven, we talked about him a little bit. He's in band. He would be 2 spaces to my right. Adam would be 2 spaces to my left. Adam is another trumpet in the band. But basically, what would happen is they would put you in between people from other schools. So I would sit next to somebody from like Lagodi or somebody from Shoals, and that just really sucked. But competition-wise, my junior year when Zachary Tibbs was the band director, we went to some competitions, and let me tell you, that band was not as good as it was under the direction of Hank Winzak. So we would have had more success if we had went when Hank Winzak was the teacher. We still got silver, but to be completely honest, we did not deserve silver.
Silver.
Dude, we struggled a lot. We were really not that good. The morning of the competition, I got up at 7 in the morning. It was blizzard. There was literally a blizzard going on, and I drove home from my friend's house on country roads. So I was going 5 miles an hour, 7 o'clock in the morning, tired. And I was like, dude, I'm going to die. And then I finally get home. I take a shower. I put my suit on. I go to the school, and we leave, and this bus is freezing cold.
Ugh.
The competition is like 15 minutes. We're literally in that building for 15 minutes. We play one song, and we lost points because I wore my Vans instead of dress shoes.
Oh, man.
Dude, that was the worst.
That's terrible.
That's about it. It was just not a good experience. I don't think I like competing.
But are you glad you did it?
Sure.
Honestly,
yeah, overall, probably, yeah.
Yeah,
Good
because
experience.
learning that music and like being the joy of getting an award with those people, it was like, really nice.
All your practice came to a good end.
Yeah, I think it came to a good end, honestly.
Well, I think I learned a lot today for sure. I enjoyed talking to you about something you're passionate about.
I'm happy to meet
Yeah.
you,
We
Mr.
got
Banker.
more information on
I
this.
mean, yeah,
Trust
for
me.
sure.
Oh, we got more.
And they will be back in the next installment.
That Radiohead episode's gonna go crazy.
Oh, yeah. I'm
That's
excited.
the next episode. What is our next episode? Let's give it a little teaser.
Um,
It should be listed.
I think episode 2
Yeah.
is about popular music
Ooh.
and the music industry, if it's bad or
That
good.
one's gonna be.
That one's gonna be
good.
fire.
So
Okay.
I'm excited for that, and thank you too for talking to me today. I
No
appreciate
problem.
that.
Absolutely. I'll
And
be back anytime.
I'm excited to talk about more.
Oh yeah, and I hope you guys will join us in the next episode of Bangers with Banker.
Banker is the anchor, and he's gonna make you thankful that you're here.